The alien's hand cracked across her face. Elena stumbled to the floor, blood on her lip, fire in her eyes. Around her, the other civilians froze. The Zarn officer, tall and silver-skinned, growled something in his own tongue, but Elena didn't. "Flinch, you just made a mistake," she whispered. The alien laughed. "You think your weak Earth laws protect you here? This is Zarn space." From behind her, the broken walls of the crashed transport ship groaned. Smoke filled the air. Colonists huddled in fear. No weapons, no help. Just one human woman staring. Down a conqueror. Elena wiped the blood from her mouth and slowly stood. "You have no idea who I am, do you?" The alien sneered. "A useless woman." One of the younger colonists tried to pull her back. "Please don't talk. They'll kill you." She shook her head. "Let him try." Outside, a drone hovered overhead, silently recording everything. Hundreds of miles away, on Earth, a red light blinked in an old military cabin. Jake Rourke, former commander of the Earth Alliance's Black Blade Division, opened the message. He watched the video, watched his wife hit the floor. He didn't blink. Didn't speak. He stood, opened a steel locker, and pulled out a black case labeled unauthorized. Inside were weapons the public didn't know existed. As he loaded his gear, his voice was calm. They touched Elena. He zipped the case shut. Eyes cold. "I'm going to teach them what a real mistake feels like." Jake Rourke didn't scream. He didn't curse. He just watched the footage again. The alien's hand, Elena's face, the fall, the blood. He froze the video. Her eyes were staring into the camera, bruised but defiant. That look hit him harder than any battlefield ever had. Jake stood in silence. Around him, the cabin buzzed with old tech and war relics. Dust-covered metals no one remembered. He opened a panel behind the wall. Inside, black armor, matte weapons, gear from a war that was never officially recorded. His fingers trembled, not from fear, from restraint. On his desk, a small photo of Elena smiled back at him. Wedding day, laughing, alive. He reached for the comlink. A voice answered on the second ping. "This is Earth Command. State your business." "They hurt my wife," Jake said flatly. "On Colony E9, a pause. Then static. "We saw the footage," the voice said. "We advise patience. Diplomatic channels." "I'm not calling for advice," Jake cut in. "I'm telling you where I'm going. You're retired, Rourke. Unauthorized action could start a war." Jake zipped up his armor. "Then I'll start a war." He ended the call. Outside, the night sky above Montana lit up as Jake's private stealth cruiser roared to life. Illegal, unregistered, and still faster than anything Earth Command had. He stood in the cockpit, eyes locked on the stars. "They think she's just a civilian," he muttered. "But she's my civilian." Coordinates locked. Colony E-9. He launched without clearance, without backup. Jake didn't care. The Zarn wanted war. They just made it personal. Jake Rourke landed in silence. No alarms. No welcome. The stealth cruiser slipped through E9's thin atmosphere like a ghost. Above, the stars watched. Below, enemy territory waited. He stepped out in black armor, face hidden behind a combat mask. No flags, no insignia. Just a shadow with fury in his chest and a name the galaxy had tried to forget. The Zarn didn't know he was here. Yet. He scanned the outpost perimeter. Metal towers, motion sensors. 3 patrols. Basic, lazy security. They didn't expect a fight. They didn't expect him. He moved fast, low to the ground, a silent blur. One Zarn guard lit a cigarette. Crack. The human blade slid through his throat before he could exhale. Jake caught the body. Laid it down easy. One down. Another came around the corner, humming to himself. He blinked. Too late. Jake's blade cut the song and the alien dashed short. 2 down. Inside the base, Vark, The officer who hit Elena lounged in his command chair, a bottle of synth wine in one hand, a smug grin on his face. "You see that woman cry?" He chuckled, pathetic. His second-in-command Drex frowned. "You shouldn't have touched her. We don't need trouble with Earth. What will they do? Send a letter?" Outside, Jake was already planting charges on the outer fence. 3 more Zarn fell before they knew someone was hunting them. One tried to radio for help. Jake stabbed the radio first. Then the alien. This wasn't war. This was punishment. One man. One mission. No backup. No mercy. The base was waking up to chaos. Lights flickered as Jake's EMP charges fried the power grid. Sirens screamed, but the system was broken. Garbled noise replaced clear alarms. In the dark, shadows moved like ghosts. Jake didn't wait. He struck again. A Zarn patrol scrambled through the corridor, weapons drawn. They didn't see him. One by one, Jake took them down with quiet, deadly strikes. No noise, no mercy. A guard cried out too late. His neural blade slipped through armor and flesh, silencing him forever. The smell of smoke and fear filled the air. Commander Vark stormed out of his office. Furious, find him. He barked, kill the human. His soldiers scrambled, but Jake was faster. He slipped through ventilation shafts and shadowed halls. Always one step ahead. In one room, Jake found prisoners, humans and aliens alike, beaten and scared. He whispered, "Stay quiet. Help is coming." Back in the command center, Vark gritted his teeth. This human. He's not just a soldier. He's a ghost. His second-in-command, Drex, warned, "We must surrender." Vark shook his head. "Never. We fight, or we die." Jake paused for a moment, breathing heavy. He looked at the scars on his hands. The same hands that swore to protect Elena. "This is just the start," he whispered. Then he vanished into the dark again. The base trembled with fear. The alien soldiers knew one thing. Now a human had come to cut their empire down. One life at a time. Commander Vark paced his office, his claws tapping on the cold metal floor. He was furious. His empire's pride shattered by one human. The video of the woman Elena was everywhere in the base now. The same woman he had slapped. His second-in-command, Drex, stood silently. "You don't understand," Drex said quietly. "That woman is not just anyone. She is the wife of Jake Rourke." Vark stopped. "Jake Rourke," he hissed. "The human war hero?" Drex nodded. "The one who fought in the Earth Alliance's Black Blade Division. They say he's a ghost on the battlefield." Vark's eyes burned with rage. "How could I know? I thought she was weak." "Now the entire base is on alert," Drex warned. "Rourke is hunting us." Suddenly, alarms blared. "Enemy detected." The base AI shouted. Vark grabbed his weapon and ran to the window. Outside, in the dark, he saw shadows moving, silent, deadly. Jake was closing in. Vark's face twisted. "This is no ordinary fight," he growled. "He's coming for me." He shouted to his troops, "Prepare for war. Find him before he finds us." But inside, Vark felt a cold fear creeping in. He had made a deadly mistake. He had touched Elena. And now, Jake Rourke was coming for justice. Hunt was real. The war had turned personal. Suddenly, the entire base went dark. The lights died. The hum of machines stopped. Jake's EMP charges had cut the power. Panic broke out. In the darkness, aliens shouted orders. But no one could see. Jake moved like a shadow. He struck fast. One alien fell without a sound. Another tried to run, but tripped. Jake's blade found him before he could scream. More alarms tried to sound, but the system was dead. The base was a maze of shadows and fear. Commander Vark cursed in his alien tongue. "Find him. Kill him before he kills us all." But Jake was everywhere. He slipped through halls, silent and deadly. Each step brought another enemy down. Aliens scrambled, firing blindly into the dark. Jake was patient. He waited, then struck again and again. Bodies dropped like rain in a control room. Drex watched the carnage on his monitor. "We can't hold them back," he said. Vark's face was pale. "This is our end," he whispered. Jake's name echoed in the base like a ghost story. The soldiers feared him, they whispered. "The human hunts like a shadow. We are doomed." Jake paused for a moment. He looked at his blade, stained red. He thought of Elena. "This is justice," he said softly. Then he vanished into the dark once more. The base was silent, except for the sound of the fallen. The hunt was far from over. Jake moved through the smoke-filled corridor. Ahead, Commander Vark waited, weapon drawn, face full of hatred. "This ends now," Jake said, voice low and cold. Vark sneered. "You think you can kill me? You're just one man." Jake stepped closer, unafraid. "You hurt Elena. You made a deadly mistake." Vark laughed. "She's just a weak human." "Nothing to me." Jake's eyes burned. "She's my human, and you'll pay." Without warning, Jake lunged forward. His neural blade flashed in the dim light, slicing through Vark's armor. Vark staggered. Clutching his side, Jake grabbed him, pushing him against the wall. He pulled out a small device, playing the video of Vark slapping Elena. "Look at what you did," Jake said quietly. Vark's smirk faltered. "I'm not here to kill you." "Not yet." Jake pressed a button on the device. Vark's suit began to constrict, tightening like a cage. "You'll live with this punishment." Vark gasped, struggling but unable to move. Jake stepped back. "This is justice." Vark glared with burning eyes, defeated but alive. Jake turned and walked away. Outside, the base was falling apart. The soldiers knew their leader was broken. Whispers spread. Jake Rourke was unstoppable. He didn't come to negotiate. He came to punish. Jake didn't kill Vark, but he made sure the alien would never forget the price of crossing him. The suit tightened, crushing Vark's body slowly. Every breath was pain. Every movement was a struggle. Jake watched, cold and steady. "This is what happens when you touch what's mine," Jake said. Around the base, the other Zarn soldiers watched in fear. They saw their commander broken, helpless. Whispers filled the halls. "The human's justice is worse than death." Jake walked through the ruins, searching. He freed the prisoners, the humans, and even some aliens who didn't want this war. They looked at him with hope. Elena's name was a rallying cry. Back in his ship, Jake called Elena. Her voice was weak, but strong. "I'm coming home," he promised. She smiled through the pain. "I know you will." Across the galaxy, news of Jake's attack spread fast. The Dominion feared a new war. Fleet commanders ordered caution, but Jake didn't care. This fight was personal. Every scar on his body told the story. Every heartbeat reminded him why he fought. To protect his wife. To protect his home. To show the universe what it means to mess with a human. The stars watched silently. A new legend was born, and it was called Jake Rourke. News of Jake Rourke's attack spread like wildfire. The Zarn Dominions command center buzzed with panic. "Earth sent one man," a general whispered. "One man tore through our outpost." The message was clear. Humans were not weak. They were fighters. They were dangerous on Earth. The public watched news feeds with mixed fear and pride. Jake's name became a symbol of power, of vengeance, of protection. The Dominion sent warnings to all colonies. Do not engage humans. Do not touch their civilians. Alien soldiers whispered stories of Jake in dark corners. Ghost who hunted without mercy. A human who could not be stopped. On Colony E9, survivors rebuilt. The Lena recovered slowly, surrounded by friends and allies. Jake stayed close, watching, protecting. The war wasn't over, but something had changed. The Zarn now feared Earth's fury. In the depths of space, fleets moved cautiously. No longer careless or arrogant. Every commander knew the price of crossing a human. Jake's fight had Become a legend. One man had turned the tide. One man had made the galaxy remember. When you hurt a human's family, you invite war. Jake stood alone under the stars. He thought of Elena and the battle ahead. The war had changed. It was no longer about politics or power. It was about justice. And he was ready. Jake stood at the doorstep of their small home on Colony E-9. Elena was inside, resting. Her face still showed bruises, but her eyes shone with strength. She smiled when she saw him. "Did you?" she whispered. Jake nodded, tired but calm. "I made sure they will never forget." Elena reached for his hand. "You fought for me, for us." Jake squeezed her hand gently. "We protect what we love." Outside, the stars shone bright, silent witnesses to the war that had just begun. Jake knew this was only the start. Zarn would not forget, neither would the humans. The galaxy had changed. Humans were no longer easy targets. They were fighters. Protectors. Warriors. And Jake Rourke had made sure everyone knew it. He looked at Elena, his wife. "My war isn't over," he said quietly. "But now I fight for more than revenge." He took a deep breath and stepped outside. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear. Humans would fight, and they would win. The stars blinked as if to agree. A new chapter had begun. And humanity was ready.